morning, Craig. But I can't hear you. Oh, hang on, because I have my sound turned all the way down. Now let's try it. Good morning, Craig. I still can't hear you. Craig.
Hey.
Hey, you're in the dark, darling.
Yeah, I'm driving. Hold on. I don't know why my earpiece don't work with wealth determiners. It won't.
That's weird.
Yeah. Hold on.
Morning, Gilbert.
Good morning.
How are you, sunshine?
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. How are you?
I'm keen. Got Kathy in the dark too. Kathy, come into the light. Craig, I'm gonna mute you in between for the road noise, okay, sweetie? Kathy, you're in the dark and I can't hear you. Good morning, Kathy. Rise and shine. All right. We're gonna let her be in the dark over there. Can I hear everybody else? I can hear Gilbert drinking water. Yes, we're good. All right. Couple minutes before we've got time to get started. What's going on in all your guys' lives or anything cool yesterday? Gil, I saw your Facebook post.
Cool. Yeah.
It's nice. It's really nice. Getting anything off of it?
No, not really, but I'm just, well, on my first ex-wife, we had a conversation a few days ago and I said, hey, I'm an author, featured author in a book, and I wrote your name, in my story. So she's like, she texts me back, I ordered your book. So and we're friends, so I'm gonna ask her to give a good review.
That is awesome. If I put my ex in the book, well, first off, I wouldn't. He'd never find out about it because he never picks up a book and reads. Second, I wouldn't tell him about it. Third, probably not going to get a good review from it.
No, I'll get a good review. So
that's way cool. It really is. Bree, you're in the dark too. There's Bree.
I am.
Good morning. Oh, you look good in red.
Thank you. I'm going to my leadership retreat.
Oh, way cool. Okay.
I've got my power moves on.
I love it. I love it. Very, very cool. Oh, have just a really, really wonderful time. And I'm really looking forward to when you want to sit down and dig through. I'll pull out my old retreats and we'll just go through all of it. We'll spend it like, I don't know, we'll spend a few hours and we'll zoom through it and I'll walk you through everything and you pick out the pieces that you like.
Okay.
Yeah. One of the cool things that we did, before we'll get started here in a minute. One of the cool things that we did was, I would put everybody into one of those escape rooms afterwards. So yeah, and because I really wanted to see how they work together. So we'd spend a day or a day and a half bonding, and then the second half of the day was everybody in the escape room. And I really made sure that I would, because I love escape rooms, I would just kind of sit back a bit. I mean, I helped. It wasn't like if they weren't there and you put us in an escape room, we're like, we're beast mode. But I wouldn't, because I wanted to watch them interact. And one time, one of the rooms was pitch dang dark, so there wasn't much watching going on. I was like, where is everything? But there's things like that that are they're just fun activities where they have to work together. And it's cool after everyone deals with, here's my strengths, here's my weaknesses, and then moving forward. So, okay, I have at least 2 people driving. So for you 2 people, you're just going to have to keep this in your head and think as we're kind of going through the process. But I'm going to ask 4 questions, and then we're going to go from there. So, good morning, Kay. How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Oh, I love it. How's the kids?
Good.
Nice.
Good. All back in school, and doctor said, if anything, they needed to go to the bathroom more frequently and drink more water. So.
This is probably good advice for all of us.
Yes.
Thinking the same thing.
All right. Okay. For all y'all who aren't driving, you might want a pen and paper. For all you all who are driving, you're just going to have to think. So, okay. First question. I want y'all to think about a time in your life when you needed help and the person helped you poorly. Either you didn't get it or it was just not good on some level. And what specifically, not so much what it was that you needed, more, what was that help that was not good help?
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, let me know when you guys kind of have like some words down on that one and you're ready for the next one.
I'm ready, believe it or not.
All right, cool beans. I got Kay's head up and I got Gil's head up. Let's do it. Okay, now the second one is when you needed help or assistance with something in life and it was really good. What did that look like? What was that? You got exactly what it was you needed. What specifically was it in words, in like descriptive words, or what it is actually that they did?
Ooh, specifically, huh?
I don't like to ask for help, so I'm trying to think of like, when have I ever asked anyone for help?
Or even needed it, maybe didn't ask for it, but needed it. And it was the right thing at the right place at the right time and it was the right thing. What was the thing? Because a lot of us here, that's actually a good class. I'm just think about that one, asking for help. Since you just hit on something I am extraordinarily guilty about, as in not doing it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys what helped me on that one. Dramatically helped me on that one. All right, Liz is coming in, so I'm gonna give Liz the instructions and then we'll go into the next question while Liz is writing. Okay, Liz, darling, we're asking, I've already asked 2 questions and then we're gonna ask 2 more. So the first 2 questions are while they're working on the third, and I'll circle around with you so that you can catch up. The first one is, I want you to write down a time that you asked for help or got help,
Turn that
but
fan
it
off.
was,
I'm not calling
it
them.
was poor help. It wasn't the kind of help that you wanted. So they didn't help you the way that you would have wanted to be helped. So one of those examples, and then another one, after you get that figured out, sometime that you helped somebody and it was good and it worked. It was like the right thing. Sometimes someone helped you. Sorry, that someone helped you and it was the right kind of help that you needed. It was the right place and time, but it was the right thing. And what was that thing? And not like I needed somebody to turn the fan off and they did. I mean, like more than that.
Darn. And I
Ah.
thought I had it.
All right. Kay, I muted you just so you know, sweetie. Okay, perfect. All right. The next one, the third one is, I want you to think about a time that you met with a salesperson and the salesperson was crappy, horrible, god awful, or what it was. And it can be the person on the other end of the deal, but more than that, maybe a person buying a cell phone or buying a car, or I've had bad help in a jewelry store before, like really bad help in a jewelry store. Like what was that? What did it look like when you had poor salesmanship? I'm writing these down too. Okay. And when you guys get that one, what was the time you had someone that sold you something that did really well? And what did that look like? All right. And when you're all done, I'll see shiny faces and then I'll know we gotta go. I see Kay's, I see Bree's, I see Craig's a side shiny face. I see shiny. Kathy has a shiny face. Gil does, and we're gonna just assume Liz does. Okay. Someone want to share, or who would like to share about the help that was really, really poor?
I will.
Me.
Oh, come on, y'all. Okay, let's hear it. Let's just go. Like, don't really about your hands or whatever. Just talk about poor salesmanship. Go through the whole thing if you want to, and we'll just go around. Gil, you're up in my
Oh.
upper.
Okay, like I was just thinking back to a couple days ago when I was being trained as a cashier and I made some mistakes. And the person training me came over and fixed it. And what I want is someone to come over and guide me through the steps so that I fix it. So that now I've remembered it.
I love it. Okay, so you wanted someone to guide you. What else? Go ahead and burn. Well, let's go around. We'll just talk about the poor one. What else do you guys have for the poor help?
Well, mine is, when I'm in pain and people said, well, you need to exercise. Like, well, I'd exercise if it didn't hurt so daggone much. I don't like that.
All right, fair enough. Who else has got something for the poor help?
My dad, first car, needed advice, wanted it picked out. He didn't know what he was doing, but didn't admit it, got me a junk car that I paid for.
Talked about that. Yeah. All right, Craig or Bree or Liz, what do you guys got?
I echo Kay's comments in the healthcare space, and that I voice a concern or something I need help with, and they just say, well, you just need to do more of this or more of that. Like, you need to do more exercise, or you need to do this differently. And I'm like, if that was working, I wouldn't be back here trying to help figure it out.
Yep. Bree?
So I have depression and I needed help from my mom with the twins who are autistic. And before she would help me, she had to reiterate that I was broken.
Lovely.
So I was like,
So how did that, when you guys had the poor help, how did it make you feel?
Ticked
low
off.
self-esteem.
Blah.
For mine, I was guilted and shamed and blamed and lectured. And I did not feel good. I felt worse by far.
Yeah.
By far. Yeah, that is not what I needed. I don't need to be lectured and blamed. I need help. All right. For good help, what do you guys have? Like, what was something that somebody did for good help?
I'm staying
Well, they
with the
gave
car
me what I
thing.
needed. They left me alone. They brought me a coffee or a water. They let me sleep.
I love that. What else you guys got?
I put down, they just listened and I was able to talk and work it out in my own head.
Yeah.
I love that one too. I have listened on mine also.
I added it too. I just couldn't read my writing.
What else do you guys got for good help?
Again, with that same car, my father-in-law on the flip side was always the one who fixed it. So, he helped me determine things that were wrong, what I needed to do, and like I said, fix the car
Love it.
over and over again.
What else you guys got? Who's got something else? Craig, Bree, Liz.
I was either given,
My friends from New York and Chicago and Nashville flew down to Tennessee and surprised me, and just kind of for a week, whatever I lacked, they undergirded me.
Wow, what a tribe. Wow, that is a beautiful thing. So everybody pitched in. All right, Liz?
I mean, they were across the country and they saw it and they just flew down.
Wow. All right,
that's
what
beautiful.
you got? It is beautiful. What you got, Liz?
Similarly, I was given a resource or some sort of information to help me figure it out. and which gave me the confidence. I felt very supported and the confidence that I could do this, like I could get through what I needed to get through.
I love the confidence one too. Craig, what do you got? And then I'll share mine.
Yeah, so I was going through a tough time. You know, some depression or whatever. I guess I had like a relapse. And a friend of mine, she and I never met in person, but we were in a same group. And she just messaged me out of the blue. And she says, you know, you've been on my mind. I feel like something's going on. You know, you're not in a good place. You know, and basically she was right. And she talked to me, and she's a doctor. She's actually a pediatrician in Florida, and her husband's a doctor as well. And she told me to basically check in with her a couple of times a week. So
Aw.
yeah, she supported me for a few months.
I love that. I love you guys' work because I wrote down for me, encouraged, supported, they believed in me. They also gave me like very specific tasks. Do this. But that was like the last thing I wrote down, because the beginning was they encouraged me and they believed in me. And then other times in my life when I've gotten really good help, I've had people who are really strong with me. Like, and I needed to hear that, and not like in a bad shaming way, in a, look, dang it, you are bigger than you think you are. Go out there and go do this. Like, you are stronger and smarter. And I know that you can, you know what I mean? It was a very strong thing, but I still really appreciated it because it was what I needed at that time. I needed that encouragement and that bolstering. Okay, so the poor salesmanship, I'm going to dig in on this one because I went to buy a car one time. I had very specific criteria. I always have very specific criteria when I buy a car, but it's different criteria than what most people have. Like I might want, one time we needed the biggest trunk, flat out the biggest trunk. That's what we needed. And that was important. This time I had to be under $10,000, under 30,000 miles, under 3 years. And I forget what and had to have really good music. And I did not want any hatchbacky thing. Like I wanted a little sedan. And I would go on to the car lot, and they would bring up a stupid, I knew the 10,000, and they would bring me cars, and I'm like, how much does that cost? Well, the payment's under 300 or whatever. No, I didn't ask you that. I need to know how much the car costs. Like, and then they wouldn't tell me. And I walked off a 3-car lot before I finally found my car at the car lot with the guy who actually listened to me. And that's all I needed. He's been listening to me. So, all right, go on. You guys' turns.
So I can echo that. So my son was a baby. He was like less than a year old. My wife had a car accident. Someone hit her, totaled the car. We were looking for another vehicle. So he was at the babysitter. We drove to Charlotte, which is like 3 hours away, looking for a car. First car lot we went to, the guy was just really crappy. They did, you know, and I've already did my research online. We had the financing through our credit union. Had all of that in place. First guy, he was just crappy. You know, I was like, you know, go home, man. You know, you don't have the car. Don't try to sell me something.
Mhm.
So we went to another dealer. Had a really nice car, Q45 Infiniti. We really wanted the car. We're telling him we had financing already. Work with us on the price. He wants to give us his finance, and he's telling us how much, asking us how much we want our payment to be every month. Don't worry about how much my payment is every month.
Don't worry about my payment. I just told you, I'm not a payment buyer.
Absolutely. So, you know, I have the money. Can you get me in this car for a certain amount of money?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling him, listen, we got a 3-hour drive. I got to go home. We got to get back to get our baby from the babysitter. And he was still beating around the bush. And I told him, listen, that's it, fine, because he got to go play the games with his manager and stuff like that. But anyway, when we were walking out the door, I told my wife, I was like, when we get in the car, he's going to come out here.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, when we got in the car, he's back out there. And Mr. Leverett, I think we can do this if you can. No, that's okay. You had enough time. You wasted my time enough. I'm leaving.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. Who else wants to dig in about poor salesmanship and good salesmanship that they've had?
Well, the
Same
car
thing.
thing I can relate to. I went in, I was very specifically looking for a large SUV. I was hauling a lot of stuff around, and I told them what I wanted to spend, and they kept trying to show me a smaller car.
Mhm.
I just said, no, no, no.
Yeah.
And the one that actually took me in and showed me what I liked, I happened to pass by one that was more than I would have taken. And I looked at that one, and then I kept looking back at the other one, and I looked at that. And finally I said, okay, let me drive that one. He did, and I bought it.
Yep. Yep.
Yep, car
Right.
dealers must be the absolute worst, because same thing. Didn't, got one, got several, didn't listen. Went around in circles with all kinds of different things. I wasted my time. I left, never did any business with them, period. On the flip side, I could actually find two. One of them was after my daughter wrecked her car, and I didn't get her a car right away, but found her a car, went in, I said, I'm looking for something used, this price range, blah, blah, blah. And they had it, and they, it hadn't been through the system yet. I had to wait a little bit for that, but other than that, it was right there. Same thing. I found one when I needed one. I needed a used car, whatever. It was too much, but they listened and worked with me, and I negotiated it down. I must have been the right time, whatever. Made it happen and left with it.
Yep. I love this. All right. Anyone else got him? Got one. Liz? Nope. Liz went muted again. Okay.
Well, I was just thinking about fast food these days, because the fast food, when I try to do them, they are in such a hurry. They don't listen, and they mess up my order all the time.
Yep. What's a good one, Bill? What's one that was a good salesmanship?
Just a couple days ago, I stopped at a 7-Eleven. I was going to do some shopping, but I stopped at 7-Eleven to get a coffee, and the lady at the cashier, she says, would you like an apple pie? I'm like, yeah, I love an apple pie. And I was grateful that she suggested it, and it was good salesmanship on her part to do the ad.
The upsell. Yeah, I love it. My daughter, oh my gosh, when she was a kid, she was working at Jamba Juice. It was like her first job or whatever. Anyway, I went to Jamba Juice to do something one time, and I mean, she was working there, and I knew she was working there. I was gonna, I don't know, pick her up or, but I just stayed in the back of the restaurant. It was really, really packed, and I just stayed in the back. And she was working the cashier, and I watched her upsell every single person and do it amazingly well. And I was like, and she was always told me, I'm never going in sales. I didn't hate it, and I was like, well, you need to go in sales. Now she's still not in sales, but she would be really, really good. I mean, she just smiled this big, huge smile, and they bought everything that girl sold. I was blown away. So anyway, Liz, darling, I saw you go and off muted there a second ago. Can you?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. So, bad experience is similar to everyone with a car situation. I actually was put in a car after my car was totaled. I was 9 months pregnant, hit from behind, car was totaled, went to go purchase a new vehicle, was put in a vehicle that I kind of wanted, but wasn't really sure, and ended up returning it 3 days later because I felt so unsafe in it. So that was my bad experience. My good experience was same sort of situation. I went and purchased, what was it that I purchased? I was purchasing and I over delivered. Oh my gosh, I can't remember. It was so good, but it was a good experience. I just want to say the over delivery of services was what was good.
All right, I love it. Okay, y'all. How does this relate to your real estate and what you do? Where are the correlations? What does it look like?
You gotta listen.
Yeah, I need to listen, not be in a hurry, upsell.
I need to encourage, support, believe, and give tasks. The good sales made me stop and look again. They listened, and it was exactly what I wanted. That's huge. Is exactly what I wanted. Because like you, Craig, with the car thing, I did all the research, did the research for over a year and knew exactly what I wanted. Actually drove to Arizona, which was 5 hours from LA, because the 3 dealers in LA that had it around LA they were just douchebags, all 3 of them. And I'm like, nope, not doing this. And so called up the guy in Arizona and said, do you have this exact thing with these exact features? My car I have now. And he's like, yes. I said, I need it for this price flat. And it was, I think it was 40K or something flat. And when I got the bill, it was 40K and 3 cents. I'm like, dude, he's like, I tried so hard. I'm sorry. Do you mind? I'm like, no, it's okay. So
I had a wonderful lesson yesterday. I was having a really rough day because I had all these things lined out. I went to show a client something, waited for 30 minutes. I called her. She finally said, oh yeah, I got there. And I think she was pulling out as I was driving up. She got there early. There were construction men. She went ahead and went in, looked at the apartment, left, and didn't have the courtesy to call me. So I was pissed about that. I said, okay, I'm going to go do something positive. And so I needed to go to the bank. I went to the bank. They made me wait and wait and wait. You know, I was waiting to get a piece of paper notarized. Finally, then I'm sitting there and I get a call from my grandson saying, where are you? You're supposed to pick us up. I'm going, oh crap, I forgot. So then I rush over to the other side of town. I took a back route thinking it would save me time. My GPS got me lost. And then every time he would call when I know where I was, it messed up my navigation. I wasted 30 minutes driving. So then I still had to get this thing notarized. I still had to get to the bank or to the post office before it closed to pick up what I thought was a check. I went to the post office, picked up the check. It wasn't a check. It was another declination, which this insurance company keeps telling me they're not going to pay for the mechanicals. I said, I know that. But it's the 3rd time they've sent me the letter. So I'm pissed, and I'm mad. And I got 3 boys in the car and it's like, I got to get out of this. So I went and I said, okay, the bank, I'm not going to make it to the bank before they close. So I went to UPS and said, can you notarize this for me? So I'm sitting there and I no sooner walked in than the phone rings and it's my daughter from prison. So I'm sitting there saying, I need to get this notarized. You know, he said, do you have this? I said, yeah, I pulled it out of my wallet and I'm talking to her. I'm doing this. You know, things aren't going right on her end with what the piece of paper I sent her that needed to get notarized to get sent back to me. And then, you know, I hung up from her and I said, I'm sorry, you know, yes, I need to get this notarized. He said, how many pages? I said, I don't know, just show me where I need to sign. And I'm on the phone, I'm trying to do this. And at the end of the day, and so he looked up and he says, you're having a really rough day, aren't you? And I went, yeah, kind of. And he said, I'm not going to charge you for this. He said, here, take it and have a blessed day. I thought, oh, thank you. It was so nice.
I love that. That is such a beautiful story. And I like that you were honest and I was like, no, it's not a good day. Everything that can't go wrong has gone wrong. So that's nice, Kay. That's really sweet, you know? It just is.
I mean, he didn't have to do it. I mean, most of the salespeople would have been pissed because I was on the phone and trying to do 2 things at once. And they would have been giving me a lecture and telling me, you know, they can't do their job if I don't do my part. And I get it. I probably was rude and horrible and whatever, but he saw through to everything I was dealing with and gave me a little lanyap. And it was just wonderful. It made my day.
To the humanity. You know, I had a friend just remind me, and they said, everything that everybody's doing, they think is right. So in what someone might perceive as rude or awful or whatever, they think is, you know, like you're just trying to get through the dang day. It's not rude. It's not this. You're just trying to get through the day. And even a complete jerk, they're still trying to do what they think is right, which is, you know, get whatever they want or whatever it is. But it does help to be able to go through that and strip it away and see the humanity underneath. when it's not, when you can tell you're not dealing with someone that's just completely selfish, malicious, or whatever it is that they are. They're just struggling. They got a lot, you know? So way cool. I love that story. And it was probably $15, but it doesn't matter. It was still really nice, or $18 or whatever. By the way, do you guys ever contact your title companies when you need anything notarized? I call my title or escrow. I do it no matter what state I'm
Good
in.
idea.
I do it all the time. Whatever state I'm in, if I need something notarized, I call my title and I'm like, hey, I'm a real estate agent from, from here. If I need to get something notarized, do you have somebody there that I can just pop in? And they always do it for me. It's usually free, and I usually just get it taken care of and get it notarized and get back on my way again. So,
I go to the library.
well, that's good too. I never knew about that. So you should have notaries at the library?
At least they do here in my county.
And is it free?
Yep.
Yeah, I got a library card. I've tried that.
That is a cool one. I like it. All right.
Well, and that reminds me of what Craig had mentioned, and I guess that's the thing, sometimes I become really self-focused.
Mhm.
And maybe if I spend a little bit of time just like thinking about all the people in my life and people I know and that I care about, and then just reaching out and being an ear for somebody else.
Yeah, I believe 1,000% that. How many times you've been thinking about somebody and then the phone rings and it's them? It's all the time. Do you guys know there's this cool thing? I'm going to butcher the actual mechanics of what it is, but they took some sort of cell thing and they split it in half and they separated it out like a long distance away. And this one spins, they both spin the same direction. They stopped the spinning of this one and made it go this way. And this one started spinning the other direction also. Somehow they're still connected, even though they're physically not connected and they're far, far, far apart.
It's twins.
There's some amazing thing, and I don't know what it is or how it works, but I completely believe in it. There's also an old proverb story thing that says everybody in our lives is that are in our particular lives are connected together with a red thread, and that thread connects everybody in. I don't know what it is. I just know that over and over and over again, I've thought about somebody and gone, hey, I am thinking about you. And I get the, oh my gosh, you've been on my mind, blah, of whatever it is. So if you ever, I knew a real estate agent that his whole mode of lead generation was every day in the car. He had a long drive. And so in the car, he would go, who's on my mind? And he would call them. And the guy did like, I don't know, 40, 50 deals a year. And that was his form of lead generation. He'd be like, I think I should call Fred today. And he would call Fred, and Fred would need a house. And then he's like, well, I think I should call Sue. And same thing. So if you're feeling that with somebody, it's always good to reach out. Even if they're not, how many times has someone reached out to you and just gone, I'm really thinking about you. What's going on? And you just feel I feel loved and blessed and like, oh, like my heart melts a little bit. It's good. So I highly encourage that if you've got somebody in your mind. And then one more trick, unless someone's got something else, or one more thing. Never mind. I have one more thing. If y'all have more, go to. I used to have a long drive when I was a team leader in the Bay Area. It's about 45 minutes each direction. On the way in, I would make phone calls or do whatever it is that I needed to do, sort of business-wise. On the way home, I called my family. I called different people in my family or my friends. And that 45-minute drive, I didn't care. Sometimes it was an hour and a half because traffic in the Bay Area is like stupid, but I didn't care. I didn't really know if it was 15 minutes or 3 hours because it didn't matter, because I was talking with my friend. And if the freeway was messed up, I got off into city streets. And if it was messed up, I got back on the freeway. You know what I mean? It didn't matter. It was like traffic stopped in front of you, people acting like idiots. I'm like, okay, now we're stopping because I'm just talking with my friend. It was the best transition to go home. And I really got to stay caught up with everybody. I really enjoyed it.
Well, and I remember what Michael Essery said, to get him in the mood to call, he started his day every day talking to a friend, somebody he knew would be warm and welcoming and want to talk to him. And I need to try that. I've got it in my head that it's a good thing to do, but I haven't done it. I haven't executed.
Right. Love it.
Another thing that I try to do.
Oh, go ahead, darling.
Sorry. Another thing I try to do, it's sort of along the same lines. Example, was standing in line at Walmart for something. And it was a really long line. And the cashier was going really slow. And as I was sitting there watching, I was only 2 people back, I was watching, and I had a feeling she was new. And the person behind me was just carrying on. And when it was my turn to get closer, I put the bar out so they could sit stuff down and whatnot. And I turned around and looked at them. I told them, they could sit there. And I said, it's really hard when you're new.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got up there, and they did agree and calm down and all that. And then when I got up there and talked to the girl, it was her first day. And she and
Gil.
same thing. And I said, it is really hard on the first day. And to have a line like this, oh goodness, you're doing great. Thank you for doing this, that kind of thing. And she just went, oh, you're so right. It's so hard.
I can't tell you how many people I've said, are you new? And they're like, yes. And I'm like, don't you hate the first week or two where you feel like a moron? And they always bust up laughing because I hate the first week of a job where you feel like a moron. Maybe 3 weeks. I hate it.
Just
so
reassure that it's going to get better. It'll get easier,
Yep. Yep. It's all good. It really is. All right. Anybody else have anything that they want to leave our Friday with? Craig, you were
Unmute,
muted.
Craig.
Darling. Come on.
I got some good news. There we go.
Let's hear it.
So, I talked to my daughter on, she had her Instagram story a couple of days ago that she had a new position at work. She is now the operations manager, the director of operations.
Hang on.
For
I'm
Macy's.
exhausted. Director of operations for
good.
what?
For big ticket items at Macy's. For Macy's.
Nice.
In Maryland. She's actually in Delaware. They're moving to Maryland, her and her husband. And I'm gonna be a grandpa.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah. So she told me that, and man, I've been grinning ever since.
Being a grandparent is the best.
I can't wait.
Oh my gosh, it's really, really, really cool. Today we go pick up my 11-year-old grandson whose bedroom I've been staying in. And I already have planned, we're gonna cook dinner together on Saturday. We're gonna play games, just all the cool things. My husband, if he shows up in time, if not, we'll take him out a different day during the week, but he's never had sushi. And so, and he actually asked me, he goes, Grandma G, do you eat sushi? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, do you? And he goes, I've never had it. And I'm like, he goes, I do. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get me a sushi buddy. So I know, but he's adventurous and fun. And it's just, and they range. I mean, I've got the 2-week-old, the 5-year-old and the 11-year-old. So I get all these different, it's the bestest. It really is. So
That's why I have this on.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking about my grandson. And when he was little,
God, that's so
I
adorable.
made him, this is a bathrobe and it comes to my knees and up my arms, right? Because it's too little, but I
Love
made it real big so he could play wizard.
Uh-huh.
And that's why I can get it on, but I'm thinking of him. So
Aw.
I grabbed it and stuck it on.
Who doesn't love playing wizard?
Right.
I have one more thing to add about grandchildren.
Yes.
My son and daughter-in-law had their second home visit to adopt my daughter's baby,
Mhm.
and it went well. And the caseworker said she couldn't have thought of a better outcome for that baby.
Aw,
Nice.
Good news.
yeah.
That is really, really, really good.
All right, I guess I don't know if I bragged about this yet, but my youngest
You need
son and his wife, actually my daughter-in-law, gave birth to Penny, my newest granddaughter, on September 11th, just like a little over a month ago.
Oh,
Life
Hey.
is so blessed.
we want
Congrats.
pictures. Okay, so put pictures. Y'all, you need to put pictures you need to put this good news on the GIA page. You really, really do. Because it's part I mean, I know we're agents and all that, but we all have lives and we all have things that we struggle with and blessings and good things like that. And it's a beautiful, great thing. And to be able to see the human side of all of us also, which I think is why I love this group so much, because we're human beings and we get to go be human beings together and humans doing the things that we do and touching the lives that we touch. So, I heard the other day that, and maybe I shared this, I don't know, but if I didn't, I'm going to, and if I did, I'm going to anyway, that the average person comes into contact in their lifetime with 1,000 people, which I thought is very cool, because if we impact every single one of those people in a positive way, those 1,000 people that we get to know in our life, and they go impact one other person, that's 1 million people. That's 1 million people, and you're only 2 steps away from impacting 1 million people positively. And I really do believe that when we pay stuff forward, that's what happens. When we do little tiny good things like Kay, like your guy who gave you the free notarization, it changes everything. One smile at a gas station can change everything. It really can. So go out and affect your 1 million people.
You know, I remember it was one time a few years ago that I was running up on people that had flat tires. It was always women. I would I keep an air compressor in my truck. Because I was doing work or whatever, pressure washing or whatever. So I always kept the air compressor in my truck. So whether I was putting air in their tire or I was actually changing their tire, I mean, this went on for like a month or two. Right. It's like I was always there. I found somebody that just happened to run up on a woman that had a flat. And I met this cool lady. She was Italian. She was an older lady. And she was at the store. I happened to pull in beside her. And she said, "Excuse me, I have a flat tire. Is there somewhere I can drive to get air?" And I looked at her tires like, "No, ma'am, you don't need to drive." And I said, "Let me change your tire for you." And I went in her trunk, found the spare and everything to change it. And she called her daughter, and her daughter comes over with their 2 sons. And I mean, they just made it was, the best thing that ever happened, So I guess it was a reason, but she ended up moving. We kept in touch for a while, and she ended up moving with her daughter down to the coast.
Down to where?
The coast of South Carolina. I think
Oh,
Charleston,
okay.
Hilton Head, or somewhere down there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I love that story. What a beautiful thing. You're Craig the tire guy.
I know, right?
Uh-huh. Well, you know what? I had somebody
And a grandpa.
Yeah.
who encouraged me. Yeah, and a grandpa. Oh, I got a baby going here in a second. So I'll do
Okay.
this and then leave. Bye, baby. Anyway, so oh gosh. Someone encouraged me to do this, and I did it one time. I was on a plane, but they said, make a list of 10 people that you are really grateful for in your life. Just a list of 10 people and who've really impacted your life. And then write a letter and actually send it. And I was on the plane one time and I had my list, and it was like a 5-hour flight or whatever. And I didn't do all 10, and I cranked out like 4 or 5 letters, but I just poured out into a letter how these people had impacted my life and how much I was grateful for them and what they really meant to me. And then I mailed it, because writing is a lost form of art at this stage. I mean, we don't get letters anymore. We just don't. And I think you can tell somebody something, and that's a beautiful thing. A letter they will hold and keep, and there will be a little piece of you in their lives forever, because there's a little piece of them in your life also. So it's just a really, really, I'm writing it down for my class, because I want to build that in. That's a good thing for my success class. So 10 gratitude letters. All right, y'all. Have an amazing weekend. Congratulations to all of the grandparents and the wizards in our lives. And I hope you guys, I just wish you guys all the best. And I want you guys to know how very much you mean to me. So thank you, darlings.
All right, have a wonderful
Have a
weekend.
blessed day,
Okay,
everyone.
bye.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.